Hello everyone, it's SpawnPoiint, and yesterday Nintendo finally announced the Switch 2 console, which will be launching in 2025. So here's everything they revealed and some new features that you might have missed during the trailer. Now on the face of it, it doesn't look like a great deal has changed as it still looks like a Switch. However, it is going to be bigger with a noticeably larger screen and larger Joy-Cons. This was demonstrated during the trailer, which shows it's roughly 10 to 15% larger than before. Now this means it will be bigger than both the original and the OLED Switch, and obviously a huge leap from the Switch Lite. And as for the colour, at least on this initial first look, the Switch 2 will be available in black with a pop of colour around the thumbsticks and on the inside of the Joy-Cons. So it's nice to see that the original neon blue and neon red still lives on, although this is a really clean look. Now obviously we might see other colour choices announced closer to launch, but this is what we've got so far. Now as for the Joy-Cons themselves, they look very similar to the original Joy-Cons with the same buttons and layouts, including the A, B, X and Y and the analog sticks. However, there is one extra button that you'll notice on the right side, just below the home button. Now it's not actually clear what this button does yet, so have you got any guesses at this stage? Also, these now have a whole new connector type for attaching it to the Switch 2. So instead of sliding and clicking them in, these now have a protruding connector, which you can see here, and what appears to be a magnetic connection. So these will just click and snap into place on either side, which looks really slick. And then when it comes to removing the Joy-Cons, the button around the back has been upgraded to look more like a trigger, which should hopefully allow releasing the controllers to be even easier than before. And just like before, you'll still be able to use the Joy-Cons off the console in handheld mode, as the left and right shoulder buttons are on both sides as well. But one thing that I noticed was these are a lot bigger than the original Switch buttons. Now you can also still click both of these Joy-Cons into the provided grip holder and use it like a normal controller as well, although I'm not sure anybody actually ever uses this. Now one thing that was shown during the trailer was the Joy-Cons skating around to look like mice. Now this might be nothing, but it appears that there's a good chance that these controllers will have a sensor inside them to allow them to be used like a mouse. Possibly this could be used as a navigation tool around the menus or on a browser, or maybe a new feature for games, much like the touchpad on the PS5's DualSense controller. As for the main console itself, around the back we've got a new kickstand, and this time spanning the entire width of the console, and this should allow the Switch 2 to sit up more easily with a less chance of it wobbling or falling over, as well as being able to almost lie flat. And this is a nice upgrade from the flip out stand that we had on the original Switch. Okay, then across the top, most of the buttons are the same with the volume and the power buttons, as well as a 3.5mm headphone jack, but you might have noticed there are now two USB-C ports on this. One on the bottom for charging it in the dock, and an extra one across the top for charging it in handheld mode. And this will make it so much easier for those who like to game in either tabletop mode or handheld mode while charging at the same time. And probably one of the most talked about features of the new Switch 2 is the screen. We know this is going to be bigger than before with the animation shown by Nintendo, but we don't actually know how big this screen is going to be. If I was to guess, I would say this is likely going to be an 8-inch screen when comparing it to the Switch, and this puts it in line with a lot of the other popular handhelds out there and should be a great size for handheld gaming. Now looking closely at the bezels around the screen, although they are slightly smaller than the original Switch, they aren't quite as slim as the OLED Switch. So whether this means the screen type is going to be an LCD or an OLED, I'm not sure. And although I really want this one to be an OLED screen, having used both now, I'm convinced this version is going to be an LCD. But maybe we'll get the option of both of these at launch, where we can choose either an LCD or an OLED. Now once again, the Switch 2 will come with a dock for both charging it and connecting it to your TV or your monitor. And looking at it, it's got the Switch 2 branding on the front and some nice rounded edges as opposed to the sharp and square edges on the original Switch dock. We've not seen what's inside this, so I'm not sure what ports we're going to get. If I had to take a guess, it would be at least an HDMI, possibly a USB-C, and maybe even an Ethernet port. Now, Nintendo did confirm that the Switch 2 will have Switch 2 exclusive games, so the Mario Kart game that was shown during the trailer will likely be a Switch 2 only game. This also means that some future games which will release will either be exclusive to the Switch 2, or have some sort of improved visuals or features only playable on the Switch 2. But talking about the Mario Kart game that was shown, we didn't get to see much of it, but enough to know that this is a brand new game. I assume this is going to be called Mario Kart 9, no extra points for originality, and I'm hyped to play this one whatever it's called when the new Switch 2 launches. But Nintendo did also confirm that you will be able to play your old library of Switch games on the new console, both physical and digital. And for me, that is a huge feature, as it means at launch you will be able to carry over your vast library of games and not worry about losing this on the new console. Now, reading the small print, it does state that some games may not be supported or fully compatible. It will probably be the old or unpopular games that most of us won't even miss, but I'm sure they will of course update their website with a full list of that soon. As for the launch date and price, Nintendo have said that this will be launching in 2025. They'll also have a Nintendo Direct event on April 2nd where more information will be revealed. You'll then be able to get hands-on with the Switch 2 via their hands-on events that are going to be held across the world. You can actually register your interest for this on the website now, which I have linked to below. As for the price, well, they've not confirmed this yet, but seeing as the original Switch launched at £280 or $300, I have a feeling the Switch 2 will be around $400 and £400. I also think it's probably going to launch in September. But any guesses from you guys, what you think this will cost, or when do you think this will launch? But as soon as this does launch, I will be covering it on the channel, so make sure you're subscribed to see more. Now drop a nice Switch 2 in the comments and I'll give you a thumbs up for staying right till the end. And if you did enjoy today's video, check out my top gaming tech of 2025 video next. Well, thanks for watching, please like, subscribe and follow me everywhere. Until next time.